Welcome back. Today we are going to review a cool Conan action figure and use the extra parts he came with to upgrade other figures in my collection. Oh, we will also compare him to another Conan figure I have to see which one is better. Let's get started. So this is Conan the Barbarian as he was portrayed in the Battle of the Blackstone, which was a comic crossover event that saw him teaming up with a few other characters to fight some kind of monster or something. It sounds cool. I want to read it now. I'm just kind of getting into classic swords and sorcery stuff. I mean, I've always loved fantasy, but something about being a dad pushing 40 has really gotten me interested in like Frank Frazetta, barbarians, all that great older fantasy stuff. So this is absolutely my jam. This is from Heroic Signatures. I bought this figure directly from their site, and shout out to their customer service because my first copy of this had like a messed up elbow joint. It was just like welded together so it couldn't move. I let them know about it and they had me send it back and they sent me a replacement immediately. Their communication was really great, and yeah, I really appreciate Rosie Santos, who was the person that I communicated back and forth with. They made sure that I was kept up to date and I got my replacement figure super fast, so really appreciate that. Okay, let's open this box. Is that a gun? All right, here he is out of the box looking very, very Conan. Let's play with him. All right, let's check out Articulation, do some part swaps, and just see how this figure feels out of the box. He looks very cool, and his articulation is reminding me a lot of what you would see with the Icon Collectibles burly men and Conan. It's a very similar construction, kind of feels really similar too. They do the single jointed elbows, but it's a nice sculpt and cut, so even though it's a single joint, you get more than enough elbow range. They also do this cool trick where the bicep swivel is hidden inside of like a hinged peg joint here. So you can do a bicep swivel without ruining the muscularity. Very cool. And yeah, he is looking awesome. He feels good to play around with. Plenty of head movement. Definitely bend those knees as far as you need to. Got toe articulation, so he could probably get into a decent crouch, even though this waist piece kind of gets in the way a little bit, but not too much. I mean, here, straighten that up. Yeah, see, like that's a pretty high kick, so could probably have him kneel down just fine. Very cool. This is a great Conan. So let's try a few part swaps. Well, actually, he's got his gripping hands on already, so let's try gripping a weapon. And we've got a lot to choose from here. Let's grab our standard axe. Let's see, yeah, sliding it in. Yep, no problem. So yeah, the hands are just pliable enough to get the weapons in there, so that feels pretty good. And he's got a lot of head options, so let's try swapping one. So I can pop this helmet off. I think the hair comes off too. Yep. Give me back my hair. Okay, Conan, chill out. So we've got another helmet here. Let's try this one. Okay, so getting this on is a little awkward. You kind of got to line it up just right. There we go. That looks good. I appreciate that the hair is attached to all these helmets. It's nice. Unfortunately, that means he can't hold any of his helmets because they all have the hair attached, but at least like when he puts a helmet on, it's not like his hair just disappeared. So that's appreciated. Let's try actually swapping a head now. Woo, there we go. And we'll take the nice classic stoic Conan head. Ooh, there we go. Very nice. Looking a bit more classic now. And the cool thing is that the hair is separate for both heads, so you can do any of the hair and helmet options with either of his facial expressions. All right, let's get you in a cool pose, buddy. Oh, you know what? He's also got a swappable shirt. Let's try that really quick. So we have a little tab right here, which is great. That makes it so much easier to take something like this off. So, okay, probably need to pop the head off. Let's get that arm stretched out. Pop the head off. Then can just slide this off. And you know, if you want like really classic Conan, just shirtless, like that looks great too. Let's try this vest that he came with. So then we will put this on the same way. Slide the arm through, get that over the neck peg. I can already tell this part's gonna be tricky. I had to like really kind of push it just to get it lined up there. But thankfully, once I actually lined up the pegs and the holes, actually pushing them on was super easy, which I did not expect. Usually when you see tabs like this, it is a huge pain, but the plastic is hard enough on these little tabs that they can actually like accept the peg without bending around too much. Looking very, very barbarian. And he stands great too. So handling and articulation is pretty great, especially for a muscular character like this, and the part swaps are mostly pretty easy. I didn't have too much trouble, so thumbs up. All right, next let's assess paintwork, accessories, and all that good stuff to determine if he was worth the price. Now, we're already past the articulation section, but I did want to call out that I was able to sit him almost cross-legged, and I think that's great, especially since there's no thigh cut. Like, you know, they wanted to make sure his booty looks good. So I'm actually impressed that even with that lack of cuts, I was still able to get him in this sitting position. He's also got some really great butterfly joints that have more sculpted muscularity on them. So he can hold a two-handed weapon, no problem. So looking at him up close, the paintwork is amazing. Like very understated, but there's some pretty great detail where it's needed. Like, you know, the little buttons here on the belt, a nice wash on the fur loincloth. I love that, like they probably could have gotten away with the vest just being like brown plastic, but there's a nice dry brush on here that gets some of the details out. Gives it a really nice leather look. And his skin tone, like I actually am having trouble telling. Like, yeah, there is paint on there, right? There must be. But it's hard to tell because it just looks very clean. And the face looks great. Nice piercing blue eyes, very cool. Yeah, the paintwork on this guy is fantastic. Okay, let's look at all his stuff. So first we have this very cool horned helmet. Looks very nice, great paintwork on there. I bet I can get the helmet off of the hair, which would be cool because then he could hold this helmet also. That is a big thing with me. I really like when characters can put their helmets on and hold them. And here's another helmet, also very cool. These must just both be different like helmets he wore throughout this particular story. I definitely think I can pry that one off too. That's going to be cool. Here's the torn shirt that was on him in the box. This is I think at this point, like, you just throw it away, buddy. But yeah, this is really cool. And we looked at the vest up close too. That's another option. Whichever one I don't use, I'm definitely going to put on another figure because it looks great. Next, we got a pair of bare feet because you actually can take everything off of this guy and use him as a base body if you want to, which is awesome. We got a pair of gesturing combat hands. Looks nice. Fingernails get lost a little bit, but honestly, I think these look good. Pair of relaxed hands. A pair of fists for some good old brawling. Looks nice. And a single trigger finger hand for the gun that he came with. And we got a ton of weapons here. We have this nice basic sword with a functional scabbard. Very cool. And there's also a hook on here for attaching it to him, so we'll try that later. We got this fantastic bloody axe. Looks awesome. And another very cool axe. Got this really great rapier. We've also got this long sword here. Very cool. Looks, I don't know, Persian, Indian because of the curved handle. Very cool. And this awesome spear with feathers on it. This looks great. Looks like the head is meant to be stone because it's not, like the way it's painted, this is a stone head spear. That's a really long stone spearhead. I like it. Good stuff. Oh, also there's this cool little necklace that was on him. It fell off when I was swapping the heads and I didn't notice, but yeah, this is very nice too. So this guy was not cheap, but based on the fact that it's a very high quality figure that comes with a ton of stuff, I think the price was very fair. So overall value, thumbs up. All right, let's scale him up with figures that I think he looks good with, starting with some other muscular men. We have Zesray Studios' Madokus, Savage Crucible Warrior with Ball and Chain, based on the Frank Frazetta artwork, may as well be another Conan. And we have the Icon Collectibles, Frazetta Girls Conan, and the Norseman by the same company. Actually, while I've got him out, let's compare these two Conans directly. So here's the Frazetta Girls Conan. It is very similar. I'm seeing like the same, almost the same style of elbow joints, but this one does not get as much range. We don't have any butterfly joints, but we do have the nice hidden bicep swivel. The legs are pretty much the same. Although I wonder, ooh, you know, I don't want to push it that far. I don't think he can get into the same sitting pose. And that is not because of the loincloth. There's definitely like some limitation in here. So overall, I think this one's better. You know, like the skin tone, you know, that's totally up for preference. Like this is the more Frazetta style. He was on like a, you know, he's a little bit more of a red tint to him. This one's a lot more tan. But in terms of articulation, I think it's no contest. Like the butterfly joints, way better leg range. But yeah, that was just a very quick comparison. But I do think between these two Conans, I like this one better. This one's still very cool though. Oh, actually, one thing that is better about this one that I like is that the helmet here is designed to be detachable. So he can hold, like you can put the other head on him and he can hold the helmet. So that is better. And here he is with some fantasy ladies. We have Tonya Tigress by Lado Toys, Lazy Monster Borrelia Dark Moon, Zesray Studios Gold Hilder, Boss Fight Studios Red Sonja, and a Mythic Legions custom on a 2.0 body. And a few named characters. We got Barbarian Santa from Fresh Monkey Fiction, SH Figuarts Golden Age Guts, Mezco Samurai Jack, Sigma Studios Kratos, and Bro Toys Kratos. And just a few more warriors to round it off. We got a Mythic Legions custom, Animal Warriors. That's my fault. And an Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Pale, my custom Barbarian who was made on a Nota home body, and the Caveman Batman. So yeah, when it comes to like 7-inch fantasy lines, he scales perfectly. And if you want to put him with like your, you know, your comic heroes, your Marvel Legends, he'll be a little bit taller, which makes sense for Conan. So yeah, scale is a definite thumbs up. I forgot to snap again. Okay, so let's assess the overall kit bash potential of this figure. We will get him into the configuration that I want him in, and we will also see if any of his extra parts can upgrade my existing figures. So let's strip him down and see what we're working with. I meant to point out that he does have trouble T-posing, but if you work it just right, yeah, that's about as far as you can get it. So that is one part of that is one thing about this joint that isn't great. Let's see how easy these feet are to get off. Just knocked a light over, but we got it. All right, the feet took some force, but not that bad. And we can slide these off. There we go. Next we'll do the hands. Yeah, we didn't do the hand swaps in the handling section, but not bad. Takes a little bit of force, but they do pop right back on. Nice. Okay, so what do? We do the legs? Do we do the torso? I'm going to gently try the torso. Maybe the upper torso. So I'm sure it comes apart. I'm just not sure which way. All right, let's get those feet on. All right, not too bad. Got to find that leverage. Definitely easier to pop the head back on without the hair. And then you put the hair on. So yeah, pretty easy to take apart for the most part. I'm not sure where the detachment point for the torso is supposed to be, and I don't want to force it, but I'm sure it can come off. So if you wanted to completely deck him out in a different way, you can do that. Or, I think Conan ends up naked all the time, so you could just display him like this, just down to basically nothing barbarian. But yeah, in terms of this guy just being like a great customizable base body, thumbs up for sure. And when it comes to taking the helmet off of the hair, that was actually super easy. I just kind of gave it a little pull, and it eventually snapped off. And yeah, it's kind of a keying system, so if you want, like, you can just kind of push it back on, and it should stay okay. Yeah, see? So, like kind of a optional way to turn one accessory into two. So now I have to decide how I want to display this guy. All right, here he is in the configuration I've chosen. The rip shirt really grew on me, and I like that it adds that it kind of breaks things up a little bit as far as his color palette goes. So I do like having him with the big axe and the sword as a backup, but I gotta say, I hate this scabbard placement. Like I get that they're trying to match this artwork, but man, like that is not a good place to put a sword, Like he's gonna lean forward and like hit himself in the jaw. Like it just doesn't work. And you can kind of angle it a little bit, but yeah, it just does not work for me. So I'm gonna see if I can slide a Mythic Legions belt on there, but I'm not confident. Never mind, that was actually super easy. I just slid it right up over his legs, and these things can actually stretch pretty well when you need them to, but I didn't have to do it that much. I just kind of pushed it up and worked it over the loincloth. Whoops. And yeah, I think this looks way better. Like now it's at more of an angle, it's out of the way, and it's not a perfect brown color match, but it kind of breaks it up a little bit, and it was actually fun. I liked being able to kind of tuck it a little bit under the, I guess this is like his vest ripped or something. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but yeah, being able to tuck it under that makes it look a little bit more layered and cool. So yeah, I am happy with this. This is definitely like, this is a nice, simple, like no frills Conan in a really good way. I like it a lot. I like that he can hold his helmet. I like that he's primarily using a big ol' axe. And oh, I also borrowed this kind of studded bracer from the other Conan, which I think kind of gives him a little asymmetry, and I kept the default bracer that he came with on this side. So yeah, he looks pretty cool. And then for his friend, what I did was I borrowed the other bracer, and I put it on this arm, and it really helps the shield stay on, which is great because the handle that was on the shield, it just never worked, and then eventually it broke off, so I'm just using friction to keep it on, and the bracer helps with that. And I also gave him the axe that came with this set, and I think he looks really good. I like having like kind of an angry and a stoic Conan to display at the same time. I think that looks pretty good. Next, here's a fun one. This is my dwarf monk. I think he's shown up before in other videos, but what I did was I added this vest to him. I think that actually works pretty well. Like definitely if another figure needs it more, I will take it from him. But for now, I think that looks pretty cool. Let's tuck you in right there. Don't knock anybody over with your cape, please. All right, next I found someone to use the spear that came with this set. This is my Barbarian Beastmaster. He's got a lot of sub-weapons right now. He's got the axe and the whip and the javelins, so the spear is a nice like primary weapon for him. Fits him very well. So that's another figure upgraded. And finally, here's kind of an unexpected one, but the Solomon cane has a cat head on top of it, so I thought it would look cool with this Mythic Legions Jagualian that I made. He's from a Legions Con 2-pack from a few years ago, and this is just kind of how he ended up, and I do like him. He's got sort of like a samurai thing going on, but I like this cat cane on him. He looks cool, and he's probably going to get ripped apart a bit once Koi gets here, because I really want to give him the green samurai armor. So character is going to change again very soon, but it's cool that he's got a new weapon in the meantime, and that will definitely be the basis for how I shape him once he gets some different parts. So yeah, there you have it. This is definitely like my favorite part about getting a new figure with all these fantasy lines is I really love swapping their parts around and upgrading figures I already have. It gets me like pulling out figures that I haven't looked at in a while, and it's such a good time to be collecting figures like this. I am having more fun with this hobby than I ever had in the last few years. All right, and with that, let's get this guy into the case. All right, he will be entering a new display I have created. So this is going to be the kind of like Frazetta tribute and like named famous fantasy characters display. So we got Conan, Red Sonja, Warrior with Ball and Chain, the Norseman, and now another Conan. So this will definitely get filled out as we get more of those like named fantasy characters. I know like there's like Kubla Khan coming from Savage Crucible, and I got an Elric to open, so he'll join this display too. So yeah, this is gonna get filled out pretty quick, and it's gonna keep looking awesome. All right. Oh, and if you're wondering, if you remember who was in here before and are wondering, that display is under construction. This is going to be like a pantheon of favorite characters and like their legendary weapons all displayed behind them. It's going to look awesome. And it's probably going to take a while. All right. Well, with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.